Good evening, everybody. I'm Ryan alongside Joel, Michigan Storm Chasers, coming at you with another live briefing. We have some pretty impactful weather incoming for Thanksgiving timeframe starting tonight. We also are keeping track of another system coming in for the weekend as well. But we're going to take this one system at a time. We're going to start with what's ahead of us next 24 to 36 hours. Let's do a quick audio check. Let us know where you're tuning in from this evening. Current time is 7:03 p.m. here on this beautiful, chilly Tuesday evening. In the chat, we got Mike, we got Julie, Emmett, Sunflower, got Carter, Tommy, Edgar, Brenda, Christopher. Good evening,
Test.
guys. Should be good to go, loud and clear. Algonac, Gladstone, Portage, Cedar Springs, Athens, Sturgis, Battle Creek. Tip of the mitt, prepare to hibernate. That makes a lot of sense. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Audio's good. Let's get started with this briefing here. Keep it nice and simple here. With the current projected model, we are tracking our system moving in this evening. It is sitting off to our west around the Wisconsin Minnesota border area. We push this from now into the evening hours. We're going to start seeing a transition from rain showers over to snow showers for the western part of the UP. And by the time Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning rolls in, the system has developed fully. It is moving over the state into Canada. And on the backside of the system, cold air, as expected, is going to fill in and turn the backside of the system over to snow. So this is what we call a synoptic snow system. All the snow you're going to see here is part of this low pressure system. And then as the system moves away, the winds then turn out of the northwest and it interacts with our warmer lake waters with moisture available for it. Lake effect snow will ramp up Thanksgiving morning here on Thursday, and that will continue pretty much all day Thursday and likely into the first part of Friday, if not a little bit longer than that, lingering into Friday evening. Aside from that, that's system one. We are tracking system two coming in for the weekend time frame here, as seen on the model. Saturday afternoon, we're seeing that system develop off to our south and west. By the time Saturday night, Sunday morning rolls around, we are impacted by another system with a lot of snow being shown, but also perhaps a mix of rain kind of filling in there for certain areas of the state. But that's system two. Let's go ahead and rewind and talk about system one because that is the most impactful looking system at the current moment. Let's start with temperatures. Kind of mild up there today. Hope you guys enjoyed it because winter is here and there's no sign of any warm ups coming in the next 10 to 15 days. We are looking at a prolonged winter pattern. This evening, we're going to track cold front moving in with the system. You can probably find it on your map here. You can see it rushing across Illinois currently as of 10 p.m. tonight. 11 p.m., midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. here. We're going to go from the mid 40s. We're going to slap by this cold front. It's going to fall into the mid 30s here, about a 10 or so degree drop. That could cause some icy areas throughout Wednesday morning and afternoon. So keep that in mind if you are traveling tomorrow. But in addition, with that cold front, it's such a strong front. That's what's going to pick up our lake effect snow as well. So looking at the wind with this, as that cold front progresses in Wednesday morning, we're basically going to get slapped by this cold front. Behind it, all of this wind is going to rush in. We're going to talk wind of 40 to 50 plus miles per hour here on a statewide basis. But also with that, the snow. The snow is the big story here, along with the wind. Let's take it hour by hour and time this out for Michigan. Into the evening hours. Here is 7 p.m. tonight, so current time. We are seeing a mix of snow start to fill in over in the western UP now. That'll continue overnight into the morning hours. We get a heavy dark blue color, heavier snow, likely up there for the western UP. It's going to start as rain, though, for the eastern UP and portions of lower Michigan. As we move towards sunrise on Wednesday, here is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Do take note, the western UP still in a very heavy snow, and we're still all in a rain pattern down here, as well as the eastern UP with some mixing going on as well. Afternoon rolls around, though. The system kind of spins around. It's going to hit us, and this will be a mix of snow, rain, until temperatures will drop fully. But this is what's going to be the beginning of our really heavier winds. And as the day goes on, temperatures are going to drop, and that changes over to a snow throughout Wednesday. And that is going to be the start of our lake effect event that continues into Thanksgiving on Thursday. We're now on Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock here. Here's 9, here's 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight, and that lake effect banding will continue into Thanksgiving morning here at 1 p.m., where the model is currently ended. So, with that said, the worst of the winds expected to kick up tomorrow morning. Here's hour by hour, starting with 8 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday morning. Here is 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, noon, 1, 2, and 3 p.m. We're going to stop right there. Take note, the wind direction in the UP, mostly a northerly direction here, but it's 40 to 50 plus mile per hour winds there, combining with that heavier snow. We have blizzard warnings in effect. If you haven't noticed already on the bottom bar there, blizzard warnings are in effect for portions of the UP, as well as winter storm warnings, as well as winter weather advisories. A lot of wind, a lot of snow. But also, just because you're getting it up there, we're going to experience it down here as well in the LP, especially on the west side of Michigan. On your screen currently is the wind, and do take note, we have a swath here throughout Wednesday afternoon that spreads across the state of 50 to 55 mile per hour winds along the central and southern part of the state. That also coincides with that changeover from that rain snow mix over to snow squalls. So, with that being said, blizzard like conditions are possible, even though there's no blizzard warnings in effect. The combination of heavier snow squalls as well as the blowing snow will create hazardous driving conditions throughout Wednesday afternoon and evening for the lower peninsula. It's not going to snow as much as the UP, but it'll still be quite impactful with blowing snow and reduced visibilities. Also take note with the high wind speeds, power outages are also possible, if not likely, in isolated to scattered nature. It's not too often we get wind gusts with these low pressure systems that top 50 mile per hour, but tomorrow could be one of those days. So take it into consideration. If you have a generator, maybe a good idea to get that ready, get some gas for it. It's going to be quite windy out there. All right. That wind will continue into Wednesday evening, into Thursday as well. Now, Thursday won't be as bad with the wind, but they're still going to be quite windy out there. 40 to 45 mile per hour gusts still on the table here, with those snow squalls still ongoing for localized areas in the state. So Thursday, Thanksgiving, is another repeat of this. So the highest traveled day of the year, it's going to be pretty impactful here in the state. Let's talk snow totals. On the model here, running this through the entire time frame. This is a model, not an official forecast. We're seeing the lake effect belts up in the western UP getting absolutely hammered with this system, with 1 to as much as 4 feet of snow being possible in localized areas. Anywhere you see the pinkish color, though, we're talking 8 to 12-ish inches. Anywhere in that bluer color down further in the western part of lower Michigan, we're talking anywhere from 2 to as much as 8 inches of snow. So we put a forecast out based on what we see with the data. Let's go through our forecast here and kind of talk about what we kind of expect of the system, because models are one thing, but the human element is still important to get things, kind of fine-tuned. So let's go ahead and start with our snowfall forecast. You guys probably saw on the page. If you have, cool. If not, let's go over it really quickly here. 1 to 3 inches in the light blue color, pretty much for the entire state, except for you folks up there in the Saginaw, Flint, St. Clair County regions. We do apologize, but that's just the way this lake effect banding is going to orient itself. It's not going to impact you guys by the 69 corridor. In that white zone, we're going to trace to an inch. Outside that white zone, though, 1 to 3 for the light blue colored areas from Monroe, Detroit, Jackson, Lansing, Mount Pleasant, up toward Port Austin, towards Alpena. Elsewhere, though, further west, we are seeing a 2 to 5 swath in the medium blue. That's going to be for places that are just a little bit inland off the lake. So it doesn't include Grand Rapids, but it will include places like Niles, Holland, Muskegon, those areas. But do take note, I say those cities. But with the wind being so strong, accumulation by the lakeshore will probably be minimal in nature. Accumulations a little bit further inland, a few miles inland, will be likely, which is why there's a gap there. If you kind of notice on the West Michigan lakeshore areas, there's a gap there. So take note of that. That's just because of the wind being so strong, pushing those bands further inland. But outside that, Grand Rapids 4 to 7, Kalamazoo 4 to 7, and that goes up toward the Gaylord area as well. 6 to 12 swath, Ludington, Reed City, Cadillac, Traverse City. And then up in the UP, here's where things get wild. A wide area, 6 to 12 in the pink zone for northern portions of the UP. There's a thin strip there, be a sharp cutoff, 4 to 7, and then down by Escanaba, Menominee areas, we're talking 2 to 5 inches. And then the extremely wild part, and yes, this is an official forecast, we're talking anywhere from a foot of snow in the red zones, perhaps 2 feet of snow in the red zones, but in localized areas, we are talking 3+ feet, feet, not inches, feet of snow. So the yellow zones, Ironwood areas up through the Keweenaw Peninsula there, up towards western portions of Marquette. With the wind, with the expected snowfall amounts, we're going to likely use wording with travel near impossible. It's going to be blizzard-like conditions, more than likely zero visibility out there at times. Travel not advised. And yes, this is a real forecast. It is not hype. This is an official forecast from us here at MSC. Our colleagues as well throwing out forecasts with similar amounts. We're all expecting the exact same thing with this system. It's going to be insane for localized areas up in the UP. We have some cameras up there as well. We'll be live out throughout tomorrow, kind of tracking this, keeping an eye on conditions. So keep it tuned in. We'll be live tomorrow tracking that as well. Outside the snow, I do want to take note, we have a blizzard conditions map as well, where we could see blizzard-like or near blizzard conditions because of that wind combining with snow squalls. It's not just going to be for the UP. Be a lot more snow up there, yes, but even further south in the LP, the wind is really gusty, it's really strong. Those snow squalls are going to make visibility very reduced. So even though we're not getting a ton of snow down here, it's still possible we're going to have major impacts to travel. Anywhere in the pink zones, you're going to see potential for near blizzard conditions at times. Not going to be all the times, but at times throughout tomorrow, we'll have those conditions. All right. Wind forecast, real quick. Pretty much 40 to 50 statewide, minus the portion up by Alpena, Gaylord, and Sault Ste. Marie. That's just because the way the system is moving and tilting and rotating, that part kind of misses out on the heaviest, but still quite gusty. 30 to 40 is still quite gusty. But outside that, 40 to 50 is likely across the entire state, with localized areas across the West Michigan Lake Shore and portions up near the Marquette Lake Superior shorelines getting in on 50 to 60 mile-per-hour winds. We'll have chasers along Lake Michigan's shoreline tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. That'll be quite insane, we anticipate, along the lakeshore. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye, but also with this wind, power outages are possible.
Yeah, Ryan, those gales tomorrow, inside the gale warnings, I know we were talking about 15 to 20-foot waves with a lot of these gale warnings, but in the most recent update, 4 portions of Lake Michigan, not all the waves are going to be like this, but we could see 30-footers on Lake Michigan easily come tomorrow night. But again, average right now still 15 to 20 foot. Back to you.
Thank you for that. Last thing I have for you guys. Current alerts. I do not know all these counties by heart. I'll just gotta go ahead and touch them off here real quick. The red counties up in the UP, from Grand Marais to Marquette to Houghton to Ironwood, all those red shaded counties are in blizzard warnings. The pink shaded counties, we have winter storm warnings. That includes populated areas like Traverse City, Cadillac, Ludington, Kalamazoo, and Battle Creek. Outside of that, the purple counties are winter weather advisories where you could still see snow that could impact travel, as accumulations likely of a few inches in those counties as well. Grand Rapids, Jackson, perhaps Lansing as well, Mount Pleasant, Alpena, and Mackinac City areas. Outside of that, we also have a second alert map because there's just a lot of alerts out there. High wind warnings for the West Michigan shoreline counties from Ludington down to Kalamazoo, or should I say Van Buren counties, not Kalamazoo County, Van Buren County. And then elsewhere in the TAN, the entire Lower Peninsula, as well as Chippewa, Mackinac counties, wind advisory, anywhere from 40 to 50. If you're in high wind warning, upwards of 55 to 60 mile per hour winds possible throughout tomorrow. So quite the impactful system, guys. And then, since we just covered all of that, let's just slice down the middle. A whole other system could move in for the weekend. We're not going to go in too much detail with that system, but we could be looking at several more inches of snow based on current trends for portions of the state, but that could also mix in with rain. So caveat there, pump the brakes. We'll come back to that. Let's get through next 24 hours first and then focus on what's ahead for the weekend. But take note, the weekend could also have an impactful system. Not as probably windy, but snow could still make things slick out there if you're traveling. One last thing to touch on, if you're traveling for Thanksgiving in the US, we talked about this last night, we're touching it again. The entire northern tier counties, in the US and then some are getting snow with this system through the weekend. So if you're traveling, the best idea, if you can, go south. Otherwise, visiting family, especially in the Great Lakes region, Iowa, Minnesota, perhaps the Dakotas as well, Michigan, New York, it's going to be quite slick out there. It's going to be snowing. Take it easy, leave early, plan accordingly, and prepare for the worst. And what I mean by that is make sure your car is stocked with essentials like blankets, some snacks. Make sure you have cell phone chargers, just your general emergency kit in your cars if you are out and about traveling this weekend. That is my spiel. Joel, did I miss anything you want to cover real quick, or go ahead and dive into your data if you want to?
Right now, for those who are curious why I'm being a little silent for y'all, is I'm working on the traffic maps, traffic forecast maps for tomorrow, and they go for the entirety of the day on Wednesday. So tomorrow morning through midnight tomorrow night, we'll have another traffic map out coming tomorrow night for Thursday. So we're kind of taking this one day at a time. Again, those travel in the travel timeline post, the graphic that we put out is a good starting point. But now that we're, basically here, and the event's about to start or it's now going underway, we will have day by day travel forecast maps, or what they're called. And so for those who may remember from last year, you'll have the greens, the yellows, the reds, and the purples. So low impact zones, medium impact zones, higher major impact zones in red, and then purple we have reserved for travel not advised. And I will say this right now, the Western UP has a lot of purple in it because of the blizzard conditions. For those who missed the text in the blizzard warning, the National Weather Service Marquette does indicate that you should only be traveling if it is an emergency, if you are in a blizzard warning. So if you are still in a blizzard warning and you know you have to travel still sometime within the next 24 to 48 hours, I would do it now, tonight. I know there's not much time left tonight, but do it tonight before tomorrow comes along. So traffic maps are coming out soon. I'm finishing them up pretty soon here, but they're not quite ready yet.
Now is the time to ask some questions here in chat. We'll take a few of those, and I see a lot of memberships coming in, a lot of donations as well. I appreciate you guys. We'll get to those here in just a second. I'm actually going to pull that up right now so I can shout you guys out and get to all those questions you are asking. In the
I got some
meantime,
more.
oh, if you have them, go for it.
So back at the beginning, we got AM YouTube 13 becoming an EF0 member. We got Katie Video back for month number 7 is an EF1 member. Julie, $5 super chat saying I'm putting in request for some thunder snow, perhaps. I got a lot of likes there for sure. Thank you, Julie. Got Cakes back for month number 5 saying I really appreciate all the help and information. You guys are the best. Thank you very much. Red Dozier with a $20 donation there. Dee Dee back for month number 11 saying whoop whoop. Red Dozier back for month number 18 saying I have extra gas. My generator is standing by. Thanks for the updates. No problem, Red. Thank you for all of your support. Summer, $4.99 super chat. I'm supposed to go eat in Allegan County for Thanksgiving. Should I not do that? Also, when does snow start tomorrow? I have bald tires. Snow is starting, if you go back to the HRR run, it does start fairly early in the west side of the state. There could be a little bit of dry air undercutting it, but it will moisten up rather quickly. We could see this snow starting to stick on the ground as early as noon tomorrow for portions of West Michigan, and that will be indicated in our travel map here very soon. So if you are traveling tomorrow to West Michigan, I would do it earlier over later. That way you can avoid slipping out of control, especially if you do still have bald tires. And again, thank you, Summer. Red Dozier back with another $20 super chat saying what Penny said, bring your pets inside. Absolutely. Again, it's going to be cold out there with those wind chills down in and near about 5 degrees in some locations for Thursday morning, Thanksgiving, and Friday morning. Evan, gifting 10 gifted memberships for those who are subscribed on YouTube. Thank you very much, Evan. Heather, EF0 member. Fun Times, $10 super chat saying, stay safe, everyone. Thank you, MSC crew, for all the winter updates and for all the work you guys do. MSC is number 1. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Fun Times there. Got Everett back for month number 16, just saying hi. And Caden back for month number 7 saying, please send thunder snow. So that's now 2 requests, Ryan, for some thunder snow.
I'm not. I think the setup is probably not going to be the perfect setup for Thunder Snow, but I don't want to say it's completely impossible. We could see some surprises, but it's not going to be a ideal situation for it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Alec has a question in chat here. Would you recommend me to make sure all loose items are brought in, like trash bins? And yes, Alec, that is a great question. And yes, make sure you have secured loose objects or light objects in your property because the winds are about to howl tomorrow. They're going to be, it's going to be windy as heck. Let's just put it that way.
Those are all the super chats so far.
Looking for questions here. I'll pull up our forecast here once again for you guys asking about specific snowfall and locations and stuff like that. See a lot of questions for East Michigan. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of snow, but with the lake effect banding and the winds being so strong, we are likely going to see those bands drift further into the eastern part of the state, which it won't be a consistent snow throughout the day, but at times we're going to see those bands kind of affect certain areas. So a general 1 to 3 is what we went with. More localized in nature, more than likely, but we should see quite a few bands make it over through the day tomorrow into Thursday. When does the wind start? And that's a good question as well. So if you are in the UP, wind's going to kick up very early tomorrow morning, right around sunrise. Take this off your screen here. This is at 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. We're starting to see that wind move into the UP up there. And then for the LP further south here, same time frame. We're talking right around sunrise to about noon, but then the really heavy gusts start to come in around the evening time frame, dinner, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. So that is what we're going to be looking at for the heaviest of winds, but they're going to pick up pretty early in the day. The map will get released likely sometime between now and we're probably going to say like what 9:30. You think, Joel, or before that?
All three graphics ready, actually.
Okay, go ahead and get up on the page.
I,
That's
I
possible.
I split them into I split them into our kind of our CWA zone. So for those who are wondering what we mean by the CWAs, for our Patreon subscribers, every day we release regional outlooks across the state of Michigan. So the same graphics that we post on our Facebook page, we kind of break them apart into regions, if that makes sense for those who are Patreon subscribers. So um, for the traffic maps, I split them into regions, and they are free for everybody. So I'm gonna get those somehow over your way, Ryan, so you can display them on here real quick. But they are in our folder. So
The trash bin meter, the window meter, is at a 4 out of 5, but we are likely going to increase that to 5 out of 5 by the end of the day today. So we'll make a decision on that here with the latest data coming in about an hour. So we'll base it off that and we'll decide what we want to do with that. How should I prepare for the storm tomorrow in Wayne County, Joel and Ryan? So for snow wise, not a whole lot besides a couple inches, but for the wind, I would definitely be stocked up on non-perishables just in case you do lose power. Hopefully it's not the case, but in the event we have power outages across the state, make sure you have some consumable food that does not take electricity to make. That would be my suggestion. Snow squalls will be quite significant in nature across the UP as well as western and lower Michigan. Yeah, we're focused in on tomorrow's and Thursday's event here. It's going to be quite impactful, and I want to put a lot of focus on it. We do have a system we're tracking for the weekend as well. It doesn't look to be as impactful as this one, but still likely going to dump a few inches of snow, if not, more than that. So, any good window to drive to Chicago from Kalamazoo tomorrow? So, Jamie, leave early is all I can tell you. As early as you possibly can, because when noon, we're going to say noon hits, that's when things start going downhill very quickly. Kalamazoo Candy with a $5 super chat says most worried about 50-mile-per-hour winds causing power outages. Stay warm, y'all. Thank you for that. And yes, This is, like I said at the start of the stream, it has not been, uh, what I'm trying to say here is 50-mile-per-hour plus winds with these low pressure systems in the fall. It's not uncommon to get wind with it, but 50 plus, especially combined with snow, it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare out there for sure. So we do expect to have numerous outages in the state. Hopefully not widespread, but numerous outages. Live coverage will likely start sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. We'll have chasers out on the lake shore as well as in West Michigan to intercept these snow squalls. But we also have weather cameras as well. We have a ton of weather cameras in West Michigan. We're going to be tracking those as well. So we'll have a lot of coverage and a lot of views in the field. The entire state has outage possibilities. Does not matter if you're in Detroit, Gaylord, Marquette, Grand Rapids. How do I get rid of the closed caption? There should be an option on Facebook there, Matthew, to turn that off. It's a button that says CC. If not, check your settings or the three dots and see if it gives you the option to turn subtitles off. Yeah, honestly, it's not. I don't think brutal is a bad term with the system, uh, given the impacts. And it's very unfortunate this is happening on a holiday as well, and especially a very highly traveled holiday. So it's definitely not good timing. Joel, do you send those to me somewhere, or are they in?
I do have my stream pulled up now, I
Perfect.
believe.
Let's go ahead and kick it over here to Joel for the traffic forecasts. Go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah, so these are our traffic maps. Each road you see on here is a major Michigan route, so like a highway that starts with an M, a US route, so US like 131, 127, 31, you name it, or of course an interstate, so an M highway, a US highway, or an I highway across the state of Michigan. So we're going to divide it into three zones here. This is all of southern Michigan, pretty much south of US 10. All the roads you see in green, that is low impacts, so travel delays of maybe 15 minutes or less. Not a whole lot of snow impacting the area. You move on to medium impacts, though, that's when you could have delays of 15 to 45 minutes. Snowfall is falling here in most locations, some low visibilities. And of course, in the red zone, that's your major impact, so delays could be as high as an hour or more, and visibilities will be reduced for sure. Snowfall rates perhaps upwards of a half an inch to an inch per hour at certain times, not all the time. And something to note about these traffic maps is they are the majority condition, and so what that means is it's the most common impact throughout the day. So you may start the day with low impacts. Obviously, tomorrow morning it's going to be nice and, dry-ish still, some rain moving in. But once that changes over to snow, that's when these impacts start to kind of creep in. The roads get slick, and again, travel slows down considerably where you get those, 15, 30, 45, even 60-minute delays there. So red, again, most impactful just because we're now seeing more of a shift into an earlier start time for tomorrow, especially in West Michigan along the shoreline where those wind gusts are really going to ramp up. Out of an abundance of caution, again, we're going to hope that it's not as bad as we are seeing right now on the model runs. But we are out of an abundance of caution putting out major impacts for West Michigan, Pentwater down to Benton Harbor and slightly inward towards Grand Rapids, US 131. Again, there's winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories kind of scattered all up and down the zone. But that is where it's supposed to start the earliest here, where the red traffic is at. If I go ahead and move over to the next one here, northern Michigan, that would be the northern half of the lower peninsula, as well as portions of the eastern upper peninsula. Again, a lot of what's happening here is the low pressure system is pulling in a lot of warm air on the southeast side of the system. And so there's actually, I don't know, I think Ryan saw it here, is there's snow on the north end of the whole system and around the southwest side of the system. But in the middle, there's enough warm air where it's still falling as rain. And so we believe that medium impacts are fit for pretty much all of northern Michigan here. There's even some low impacts over there by Alpena because, again, it's going to be rain for most of the day up here in this side of the state, with a changeover to snow sometime around probably about sunset tomorrow, which it's already going to be cloudy out there. So around 6 o'clock ish tomorrow, that's when the medium impacts kind of ramp up. And then, of course, we move over into the Upper Peninsula, and this is where we are really honing in on the travel not advised category. All those major routes you see in purple here, such as US 45, US 2, M28, pretty much from Bessemer all the way over to Marquette, and all of US 41, M26, all along that corridor up into the Keweenaw Peninsula. So Houghton, Copper Harbor, Hancock. Again, all of these counties, pretty much all in the blizzard warnings, just because there's going to be some significant banding with the system coming through tonight. Dendritic growth zone, very low to the ground. It's starting to transition over right now. Snowfall rates could be close to 2 to 3 inches per hour at certain times throughout the day tomorrow. And so, again, that's going to be very hard to travel in. And as the National Weather Service and Marquette mentioned, save it for emergencies only if possible. I know there's college and exams going on up there at Houghton in Michigan Tech up there. So, again, if you can get out now, obviously you would want to do that. But otherwise, be ready to hunker down for a couple days up there in the Western Upper Peninsula. Otherwise, you can see as you move over towards the central UP, a lot of red, a lot of major impacts, but not as high as, of course, travel not advised. And because off to the east, still a lot of rain still falling, so the snow will slowly be moving into the east throughout the day. So medium impacts over there towards Escanaba, Sini, Manistee regions of the Upper Peninsula. And so those are your three forecasts for your travel impacts, and we will release these on the Facebook page here right around 8 o'clock.
Perfect. Also, just for reference, those maps had the 25th date on them, Joel, but they are for tomorrow. Just to clarify.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So it's today's date, but these maps are for tomorrow.
Yes. I'll probably fix that before I upload.
Yes. Just want to clarify. All right. See a couple. Wow. I see a couple good questions here in the chat regarding blizzard warning versus winter storm warning. Joel, do you know the definition of those? Do you want to take that?
Yeah, so criteria needed for blizzard warnings is there's really only three things. I'm going to go ahead and pull up just the National Weather Service Marquette so I can actually reference the winter storm warnings here, just some of the text. But the blizzard warnings are going to have obviously the heaviest of snow with some totals of, I kid you not, 8 to 17 inches with localized swaths of 30 inches of snow or greater. That's literally what it says in these blizzard warnings. So that's number one. Number two, blizzard warnings always have to do with the wind. In this case, you need consistently 3 hours of winds sustained at 35 miles per hour. So constantly 35 mile per hour winds or higher. Doesn't matter what the gusts are up to, it just has to be 35 sustained. With that, you also need visibilities sustained at a quarter mile or less throughout that same 3 hour block. And again, as long as any snow is falling during that time, that constitutes as a blizzard. In the winter storm warning zones, little less sustained winds, and so they're going to kind of pull that back a little bit. Winds also generally lower here, not by much. It's still going to feel like a blizzard out there in some of those winter storm warnings, which is why I'm not going to say it, but we could maybe see a blizzard warning or two sneak into the lower peninsula by tomorrow. Would not be surprised, as you can see here on the wind map. Some of those gusts along the Lake Michigan shoreline are up to 60 miles per hour at times. So that is your basic definition there. And again, the snow totals are lower too. As we mentioned in our snowfall map, 6 to 12 inches is kind of the going rate in a winter storm warning. And I'm seeing this right now in the Marquette one. I see 4 to 12 inches and a couple here that are maybe into the 14-inch range, but most of these winter storm warnings are around that 6 to 12 zone there for both the upper peninsula and into the lower peninsula. So those are, again, the differences between winter storm warning and a blizzard warning. And the winter weather advisory, by the way, is just kind of more of a step down from that, where you have lesser wind and totals kind of closer to that half a foot range or lower. And I did post this on the page earlier when we posted the active alerts. The alerts go at the same time. So some locations, for example, in West Michigan right now, are in a winter storm warning or a winter weather advisory. While there's also a high wind warning or a wind advisory in place, they do not, one does not cancel out the other. They are both in effect at the exact same time. Now, usually, in most cases, they just put the wind into the winter storm warning, but for this event, they decided to keep them separate to not confuse. So, pretty cool. It's one of the rare times I've seen it.
Flying out of GRR at 6 a.m. Thursday to DC direct flight. That might be impacted. Thursday morning it's gonna be snowing for sure. I don't know. Delays, Joel, you thinking GR?
I'd say so. Yeah.
I would assume so as well, especially with the
They,
significance of the wind.
they do have a good team out there at the airport, but again, with the winds being the way they are, it is going to be hard to keep up. So, but the term is near blizzard conditions that we're using right now for the lower peninsula because there's not technically a blizzard warning in effect. It'll still feel like a blizzard out there for sure.
So
Also, there's one
rolling. Go,
one super chat we missed from earlier from Jared, a 99 super chat, just saying thanks for everything y'all do. No problem, Jared. Go ahead.
thank you, Jared. I just want to kind of roll through our forecast once more for those of you just tuning in. I see a lot of questions about wind and snow and exact areas. So our snowfall forecast is on your screen currently. So most of the state, if you're on the east side, is between a inch up to 3 inches in spots. The 69 corridor from about Saginaw to Flint to St. Clair is in a trace to one. West Michigan, if you are an immediate couple miles of the lake shore, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of snow with this system because the wind is taking all that snow and pushing it further into the state. But if you live closer to 131 there and probably, I'm going to say probably 5-ish miles inland, you could get 2 to 5 inches. And then further along Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo along 131 there, we're going 4 to 7. And then further north, 6 to 12 swath from Ludington into Reed City to Cadillac, Traverse City, Gaylord areas. Then the UP is a big story, 6 to 12 in a wide area in the northern part of the UP. And then 4 to 7 in a narrow swath below that, and 2 to 5 down by Menominee, down there by the Wisconsin border. And then up in the western part of the UP, foot as much as 4 feet or so, 3 to 4 feet of snow in localized areas. So that's going to be through Thursday. Keep that in mind. You guys have a lot of snow to deal with up there, which is really good. I know a lot of the Upers are ready for it, and a lot of the resorts up there, ski resorts and snowmobile clubs and businesses, they're ready for a good thumping, as I like to call it, of snow. So this is definitely it. Outside of that, we are looking at the heaviest snow starting probably early, heaviest starting early tomorrow morning, then continuing all throughout Wednesday into Thursday. But the wind as well is going to be as impactful, if not more impactful, across the majority of the state here. 40 to 50 mile per hour winds across all of Michigan, and then localized areas along the Holland, Muskegon, West Michigan Lakeshore, 650 to 60, as well as up by Marquette, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds up there. The only place that may escape the worst of the winds is in the purple zone up by Sault Ste. Marie, Mackinac City, Alpena, Gaylord areas where 30 to 40 mile per hour winds are the going rate up there throughout the day tomorrow. Travel will be impacted either way. The UP getting the worst of the snow and also blizzard-like conditions, or blizzard conditions, should I say. But we could still see blizzard-like conditions further south in the lower peninsula in the pink shaded areas as snow squalls will push inland during the afternoon and evening on Wednesday tomorrow, combining with that wind that could gust up to 50 miles per hour. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be a good combination if you're out and about on the roads throughout the lower part of Michigan.
I saw a comment there saying 20 to 40 inches is nuts, but here in Michigan, again, we're used to it. Those, especially in the Western Upper Peninsula, those lake effect zones do get a lot of snow. It's why every single year their average snowfall is 200 inches, 250 inches plus up there, especially in the Keweenaw Peninsula. So they, very well could get close to a quarter of their seasonal snowfall in one event here. But again, they got a long way to go until they get to their average mark of about 250 every single year. So if you're a snow lover, you can always consider moving up to the Upper Peninsula, but do take into account there are blizzard warnings up there. They tell you not to travel. You really just got to hunker down and brave the elements and stock up. So I will say one more thing. We do have weather cameras, which we are going to probably showcase tomorrow during our live coverage.
A
But
lot.
currently, over at our other YouTube channel, Michigan Weather Network, there's a bunch of them live right now across the Western Upper Peninsula. But again, if you tune in tomorrow during our coverage, we'll probably see them as long as they don't get buried in the snow.
Possible.
Um, it is definitely possible the lenses get completely covered up, but in the event they don't, we could see those heavy snowflakes falling. You're gonna expect those to be some pretty huge snowflakes, being 2 to 3 inch per hour rates, especially for portions of the Keweenaw Peninsula and the Porcupine Mountains. So those will look pretty on camera, but those will add up very, very quickly.
We'll have chasers out tomorrow as well. I know we have, I believe, at least Drew and Ben that I've seen committed to going out. If there's anybody else, I probably missed their chats, but we're going to have at least two chasers out throughout the day tomorrow. I believe Drew is going to be at the West Michigan shoreline where the worst of the wind is expected. So that'll be interesting to see what he has for us tomorrow. We'll probably go live sometime if I had to guess, not set in stone, probably between 1 and 4, 5 ish, around that time frame. I see a question, or I saw a question in here about a second system for the weekend, and yes, we are tracking the system as well. That will likely bring a few more inches of snow to the state. We're not going to talk totals just yet because there's some uncertainty with rain cutting into it. But also, we're still, what is today? Tuesday. We're still Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days away. Stuff can still shift around and change. So let's get through tomorrow first, and then we can start keying in on the weekend system. But at this point, I would say it's likely we're going to see some type of impact from a system this weekend. We just don't know the exact areas and how much of an impact we're going to see.
Yeah, traffic forecast. You guys were spamming us today for sure. We have those out though. We'll have them out here at 8 o'clock. But if you want to throw that up again, Ryan, I can go through it one more time. So here is West Michigan, Southeast Michigan, pretty much all Central Michigan. Once again, roads in green, low impacts, delays of 15 minutes or less. Pretty much no snow falling. You get to the medium impact zones. That's where snow will likely fall throughout the day. Some slick spots will occur, bridges and back roads primarily. Could see a couple slick spots on the main roads, especially given that it will start probably a little bit earlier, closer to the red zone you get, of course. And then in those red zones, obviously medium impacts 15 to 45 minutes. Once you get to the major impact zones, you could see delays of an hour or plus. And that is due to the fact that, again, as we mentioned, earlier start possible for primarily West Michigan from Pentwater down to South Haven and Kalamazoo and into the Grand Rapids area where the wind will drive that snow further inland. So major impacts there. Not travel not advised. Good news there, but it will still be slow going where snow is expected to start accumulating on all surfaces, back roads, main roads, bridges in the major impact zone. If I flip over to, I always go the wrong way here, up to the northern portion of the Michigan. All medium impacts up there. Again, a lot of rain falling throughout the day tomorrow. In the vicinity of the low pressure system, kind of sweeping in that warm air around into the southeast quadrant. So not a whole lot going on there. It'll start to freeze over late tomorrow night, so we're going to keep it just medium impacts, maybe a couple of major impacts over by Traverse City. And then, of course, over into the Upper Peninsula, major impacts pretty much from Marquette down to Iron Mountain. And as you get west to Marquette over towards Sidnall, Lance, Houghton, Copper Harbor, travel not advised, blizzard warnings in effect, snowfall upwards of like totals of 10 to 20 inches, 30 inches in isolated spots, even 40 by the time we're done on Thursday. But again, this is just traffic for Wednesday. And again, those dates on the top are showing today. Those will be switched. Those are for the entirety of Wednesday. Tomorrow evening, we'll have updated maps out for your Thanksgiving Day travel. We're taking it one day at a time right now. But just note that we'll probably have more of the same on Thursday. In fact, probably a little bit worse because snow's had time to accumulate. It'll take a while. A lot of snowplow companies, obviously, they're taking the holidays off. So it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more slow going out there, and you're probably going to see a lot more major impacts for Thursday. So, again, if you are traveling, try to get it out of the way. Again, we're not telling you to do this, but if you are traveling for Thanksgiving within the next 3 days to go somewhere, do it either tonight if you're going out, if it's possible for you, do it tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. So, as you can see, travel not advised for the Western Upper Peninsula. Emergency traffic only if you can, and that will start as soon as midnight tonight. So those are your traffic impacts. Those will be up on our Facebook, Instagram, X pages, all here at around 8 o'clock.
Also, we have Evan and Tyler planning to go out. Thank you, Drew, in chat. So we have Drew, Ben, Evan, and Tyler who will be out tomorrow. Potentially more. Good question here from one of our moderators. Are we talking a light and fluffy snow or talking a heavy and wet snow?
Well, in the UP, it'll be a little heavy and wet, a lot of bigger flakes, but the wind's going to kind of shred those apart a little bit. So we'll probably see a healthy mix of bigger snowflakes and more fine-tuned snowflakes down here in the lower peninsula.
All right, any other questions here before we wrap this stream up and start digging into evening data? As I know, Joe and I are both really anticipating doing in about 30 minutes. Do we see a blizzard warning being issued for the LP? It's not out of the question, but at this point in time, leaning toward the no on that. Wouldn't be a
Yeah,
shock, but not. Go ahead.
when we talk about alerts, it's all speculation. Again, the National Weather Service issues them. Again, we don't get communications on whether or not they're going to issue warnings at certain times. We find out the exact time everyone else does. So once warnings are issued, that's when we find out, essentially. So it's possible. Like I said, it's all speculation. It's possible they could be drafting up a blizzard warning somewhere for the Lower Peninsula tomorrow, but we won't know until they release it. So I think for now, it's a good, safe bet to keep the winter storm warning in place. Again, any winter weather alert that you're issued for, it's going to be slow going out there. So even take those winter weather advisories seriously because we've seen it time and time again. We've repeated it through all of our briefings in the last week. The 2 to 4 inches of snow, 2 to 5 inches of snow zone will often catch a lot of people by surprise. It's just the way it is, especially in the early season when no one's really used to the snow yet. A lot of bald tires still out there, of course. A lot of people haven't changed into their snow tires yet, so it's going to be slow going no matter what zone you're in. Even in Grand Rapids, where there's just a winter weather advisory in place, you can see through Thanksgiving, 4 to 7 inches of snow is the going rate for Grand Rapids over towards Allendale there. So, just an example. Take it slow, no matter what winter weather alert you're in.
Question in chat: will advisories be issued for the more eastern parts of the LP? Answer to that is maybe a couple more counties being added, but I would not expect a whole lot more to be introduced, unless Joel, you think otherwise.
If they were going to add any more winter weather advisories, I would say probably for Alcona, Iosco, the counties over there just south of Alpena, and perhaps Gladwin, Midland counties, just because we're seeing on the HRRR run into Thursday, the lake effect bands, because the winds are so impressive, that it carries those lake effect bands pretty much all the way over to the I-75 corridor, the Tri-Cities region. So I would not be surprised if they add some winter weather advisories over towards Saginaw, um, perhaps even into Huron County up there in the thumb for Thursday. So we'll see. But as it stands right now, those are the current alerts. And again, anytime we're talking about alerts, as I mentioned, it is all speculation.
Yeah, traffic. I was out on the roads this morning and afternoon, and traffic was definitely a lot heavier than usual. A lot of out of state plates, which is expected holiday season. But even though it's not Thanksgiving yet, we still have a lot of travel going on. So even though it's happening a day before Thanksgiving, we're still going to have quite the impact in terms of travel. I would honestly plan for delays if you're planning on going out tomorrow.
I can confirm. I was driving 96 today, and it was bumper to bumper already at like 3 in the afternoon. So throw a little bit of snow into that, and it's already probably going to be slow going as soon as noon tomorrow, especially for West Michigan.
I don't see any further questions here. Mayor asked, could we end up seeing snow squalls? Yes, those are likely. Um, Joel, a question that I have personally, which I want to kind of ask this because East Michigan, we don't see snow squall warnings in West Michigan or the UP, but do you think we could get those over in Detroit's CWA? Because I do know they do issue those.
Yeah, there absolutely is a possibility for snow squall warnings. They would be on Thursday, if anything, because that's when the wind really starts to carry those further inland. So I would not be surprised if snow squall warnings do get issued for Thursday, especially again Detroit area. So as a reminder, again, as Ryan was just mentioning, snow squall warnings are not issued in West Michigan. So the Grand Rapids County Warning Area, CWA, that's what it stands for, or the Gaylord Zone up there, because again, lake effect snow is very common compared to places in the east side of the state. So the Detroit County Warning Area, which encompasses the counties of, so I'll just read them off here. If you are in Aranac, actually, nope, scratch that, Bay, Midland, Saginaw, Huron, Tuscola, Sanilac, Shiawassee, Genesee, Lapeer, St. Clair, Livingston, Oakland, Macomb, Wayne, Washtenaw, Lenawee, and Monroe County. If you have named any of those counties there, you are in the National Weather Service Detroit County Warning Area. So they have the jurisdiction over you essentially. So if you are in any one of those counties, you could see a snow squall warning on Thursday during Thanksgiving. Also, shout out to Bill, becoming an EF0 member here on YouTube. Appreciate you. If you haven't already, feel free to smash that like button, hit the follow button as well. If you're new here, got you covered. 365 days a year, winter weather, severe weather. Love to have you become part of the MSC family.
Been live for about, I can't talk. Goodness gracious. We've been live here for about 55 minutes, so we're going to start wrapping this up. We have a lot of data to go over and a lot of planning to do for tomorrow's coverage. So, with that said, drop your last questions in chat here. And while you guys do that, I'm going to go through sponsors, unless you want to do so, Joel. It's up to you.
You got it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start with StormGuard, roofing construction based out of Southeast Michigan, Oakland, Macomb, Washtenaw counties. We got Cats Roofing and Siding out of Powderville, which is near Lansing. Got Mike Hayes, sponsor of the day. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding, based out of Sanilac and St. Clair counties. Number on your screen, 810-984-4564. McKay Tree Specialist, Southeast Michigan, Tree Care Specialist. Kuiper Tree Care in West Michigan. FBI buildings across most all of the state of Michigan. On Top Roofing here in Livingston County. Top Gun Roofing Exteriors in West Michigan. A-Class Construction and Restoration out of Mason County. Rainbow Restoration based in Kent County and surrounding areas. Skycam sponsor Garger Technologies, also providing security, audio, and video needs. Rapid Radios, our communication sponsor between us here in the studio and our chasers out in the field. American Arbor across Southwest Michigan. Apex Restoration in Graham Blank. The Ronald McDonald House of Detroit. Feel free to donate by calling the number on your screen or visiting their website. And then, Joel, we have a couple other sponsors as well. The Miracle League of Plymouth. And we have Clearplow, Snow Pushers. We'll get those in and loaded up into my queue here. I need to do that still, but we do appreciate all of our sponsors who continue to help support us as well as provide services to you guys in the event you happen to need their services. I'm going to scroll through chat one more time, hit the most popular questions if I see any, and then we're going to hop out of here right around 8 o'clock. We'll be live tomorrow afternoon for coverage. We might do a briefing depending on how it shakes out tomorrow. We'll probably be live for quite a while, so we might just talk about it while we're in the actual stream itself. We'll have to kind of play that by ear. But we'll be live tomorrow at some point. I don't see too many other questions here. Do we feel any of the advisories will be upgraded to winter storm warnings? Shane asked. It's possible for certain areas. It's certainly possible. Um, we'll have to pay attention to trends tonight and kind of see if we have uptrends in certain counties that 3 inches are forecasted now, could be 7, 8 inches by the time it's over. So we'll kind of have to play that by ear, and just kind of see if anything changes between data sets. All right. Anything else you want to add to this, Joel?
I don't think so, other than I guess I will toss in on our HRRR run. There is a chance for maybe perhaps a little bit of freezing drizzle by the time we get to Thursday. The HRRR run again was throwing that out there, especially in Southwest Michigan. You kind of see a little bit of that pink there. A little bit of freezing drizzle. Again, the lake waters are quite warm still out there, so we could see a little bit of riming going on, some fine ice, and a little bit of freezing drizzle as I mentioned. So accumulations there, likely under a quarter of an inch. So most of it will fall as snow. But just don't be surprised if you do see something other than snow falling at your locations right along the shoreline. And that is also another reason why in our snowfall totals map you do see 1 to 3 inches, maybe 2 to 4 inches for the first 5 to 10 miles along the coastline versus you get 10 miles in and further, then those totals start to jump up. Besides, of course, the wind blowing in the snow further there. So that is all for now. If I think of other things, of course, you'll see it posted on our social media pages. Facebook is our main platform. We're closing in on 550,000 followers. Thank you guys very much for following us on Facebook. Otherwise, Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok, even we have short videos on there. So any social media platform you can think of, feel free to hit the follow button. For those who do follow us on everything, we call you guys the diehards. Appreciate you more than you know. So yeah, and as you head out, just hit the like button. And Ryan, I'll turn it over to you to say goodbye to everybody.
Yep, we're going to wrap this up. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Let's shoot for the early to mid-afternoon time frame for live coverage beginning, or whenever conditions become to deteriorate across the state. We'll hop on here. We'll go live with chasers out there. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to the page as well for updates throughout the day tomorrow and this evening for traffic, as well as another reel coming your way later on this evening. With that said, we'll catch you all next time here at MSC.
Safe, be patient. Talk to you soon.